Welcome to GTS Car Life, I'm Thomas. Today, thanks to the power of dream racing, we're comparing the Porsche 992 GT3 and the Lamborghini Huracan STO. Today, we take a look at two of the newest track-focused entries to the super hot super sports car market. The all-new 992 generation of Porsche's perennial track favorite and overachiever, the 911 GT3, and the latest and greatest, most hardcore version of Lamborghini's soon-to-be retired V10-powered Huracan, the STO. On paper, these two cars may seem similar. Both provide coveted seating for two very lucky people. Both will get a lot of attention in today's world of look-alike SUVs, and both the Lamborghini and Porsche offer very similar performance with these track-focused versions of their manufacturer's standard sports cars. The GT3 and STO were both rear-wheel drive and provide similar 0 to 60 times around 3 seconds and top speeds just north of 190 miles per hour. This is the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo Omologata, or STO. Essentially the homologated version of the company's Super Trofeo race car, the Huracan STO is as close as you can get to purchasing a street-legal Lamborghini race car. It's bold, it's bright, it's brash, and it's loud. The Huracan STO accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3 seconds and doesn't stop accelerating until you're traveling 193 miles per hour. Anything but subtle, this new Huracan STO continues in the loud and proud tradition of Lamborghini bulls before it. And it does so at least as well as any other car you can own for similar money. This is an exciting car. The styling is breathtaking, extroverted, over the top even for a raging bull. The classic Verity scandal paint is simply magnificent in person. Photos just don't do this paint or car justice. You've got to see this paint in person. No matter where you look, from the new Mura-inspired Cofango front clamshell and unique splitter, to the roof-mounted snorkel, shark fin, or the louvered engine cover, the styling leaves no doubt. This is not your run-of-the-mill Huracan. The styling of the Huracan STO is really outrageous. A lot of parts are totally unique to the STO model. The front clip is completely unique. The splitter is something that you haven't seen before in a Lamborghini. The car is over 75% carbon fiber, making it as light as possible. The specs show it's not much faster than a Performante. This car is all about downforce, and it has these really cool, unique cutaways to reduce lift from the front end. The paint job on this STO is outstanding. The revised front and rear aero detailing, including the flat underside, special extractor vents, and of course that giant 3-position manually adjustable wing, contribute to the STO's exceptional 926 pounds of maximum downforce at 174 miles per hour. Ferraris and Porsches have long inspired confidence as you put them through their paces. The same cannot be said about Lamborghinis. In fact, until the introduction of the Huracan Performante, many automotive enthusiasts would agree that Lamborghinis were best driven on Rodeo Drive, not on track. Ferruccio Lamborghini himself never saw value in racing, and his cars were designed to elicit a passionate response based on their styling more so than their driving chops. Achieving quick lap times in a Porsche or Ferrari is fun and exciting and exhilarating. Doing the same thing in a Lamborghini is an accomplishment. You have to work hard every step of the way. You have to course the beast. But really, you buy a Lamborghini to make a statement, to get attention and to make your heart beat faster, to experience something visceral, even a little violent, every time you look at it, enter it, start it, and drive it. Few cars today are as exciting, as emotional as a Lamborghini. And from that perspective, few can match this new STO. Lamborghini hit this one out of the park. Powering this beast is a naturally aspirated 5.2-liter V10 making 631 horsepower and 417 pound-feet of torque. This is more power even than the Huracan GT3 and Super Trofeo race cars, which are limited by FIA regulations. Lamborghini has stated that this is the last of their naturally aspirated turbo and hybrid-free engines. The Huracan replacement will be a twin-turbocharged V8, and every model in the company's next-generation lineup will feature a hybrid power plant. Subsequent models are planned to offer full electric power. So this Huracan is significant and special simply by virtue of the fact that it represents the end of an era. No more V10, no more exciting and loud, naturally aspirated power. Lamborghini took extreme steps to keep the weight down on this car, and they have succeeded. The exterior panels are 75% carbon fiber, and even the front windshield weighs 20% less than a standard Huracan. Total weight is around 3,350 pounds, almost identical to the 6-cylinder Porsche GT3. Getting inside is easier than one might expect considering how low the STO is. The interior can be customized as far as your wallet will stretch, but this one, like many, is finished predominantly in black Alcantara, carbon fiber, and leather. Inside, you will find no carpet. Door panels are carbon fiber, and most of what you see or touch are carbon fiber or Alcantara. Once behind the wheel, drivers can select from 3 different performance settings, each adjusting the power delivery, exhaust note, suspension, and automatic shifting ability. The first setting, STO, is intended for street driving and allows the driver to either let the car shift itself or to use the oversized paddles to manually shift. Clearly designed to generate higher EPA fuel economy ratings, I was surprised how quickly the STO mode forced the transmission into high gears. I saw a computer-selected 7th gear at speeds just under 30 miles per hour. In order to make the car downshift, you really need to bury the heavy throttle pedal to the floor. STO is really a misnomer. Strada would be a better name. Chill would be honest. Trofeo is the track setting, making the throttle pedal tremendously more responsive, the engine note louder, and firming up the suspension. Unlike Porsche's PDK system, track or Trofeo mode requires the driver to shift using the extremely large column-mounted paddles. Finally, the STO offers Pioggia or wet mode. I didn't have a chance to try out this mode, but I can't imagine any owner wanting to use this car in the wet. I can imagine donuts would be the only thing an STO would excel at in the rain. In fact, Lamborghini has sent a bulletin to its dealers asking them to make sure STOs are only hand-washed and that no water is sprayed into the various intakes and engine compartment areas. An STO will likely not be your first choice for daily driver duty. On the subject of practicality, the magnificent 631 horsepower 5.2-liter V10 is more difficult to get to in the STO than in the standard Huracan, requiring 2 people and a special key to remove the Batman-inspired carbon fiber cover. For obvious reasons, I didn't open it up. Similarly, the tiny trunk, offering just enough space to store 1 racing helmet, also requires extreme care and that same special key, which is stored inside the car in a location you'd expect to find a hood release handle on a normal car. Cabin space, like in other Lamborghinis, is very tight with limited head, leg, and hip room. The seats are mounted surprisingly high for such a low-profile car. Call it intimate. What you won't call it is practical. This is another area where the Porsche and Lamborghini really separate themselves.
That's as low as you can go.
All right, here we go. Lamborghini Huracan STO. Underway, this Lamborghini makes itself known with noise, vibration, and harshness, but all in a good way. Power is exceptional. Gear changes are instant, and the car rockets forward like few others. Fortunately, stopping power is equally impressive from special 6-piston front and 4-piston rear Brembo CCMR brakes, which offer 4 times greater thermal conductivity than standard carbon ceramic discs. Unlike the Porsche, when pushed, the back end of the Huracan does tend to twitch under hard braking, downshifts, and full throttle acceleration. The Porsche's rear weight bias and low center of gravity, a direct benefit of the car's flat, horizontally opposed 4-liter 6-cylinder engine, made the GT3 noticeably more planted in these situations. The Lamborghini wants to throw you from your seat at every turn, every downshift, every full throttle run. The Huracan STO is incredibly capable, but you really have to work to get the best results. The Lamborghini stirs passions, but does not exactly instill confidence. The Porsche is perhaps the complete opposite, its purposeful styling stirring few emotions by comparison, but behind the wheel, as a driver, the GT3 makes you feel like Superman. The Porsche goes fast naturally, effortlessly. Like a Ferrari, the new GT3 makes you a better driver than you are. The STO wants to kill you. Not perhaps as much as its bigger and heavier 12-cylinder brother, the Aventador, but make no mistake, the STO is a raging bull, and if you want to ride, it's going to try its best to throw you. The Huracan STO, like other Lamborghinis I've driven, is the wild, hot little firecracker you meet in the newest dance club. You know she'll bring lots of excitement into your life and you'll definitely never be bored. But she'll also constantly keep you guessing and you'll never really shake those doubts about whether she can be counted on.
Hey, well that was exciting.
The Porsche GT3, on the other hand, is the girl you meet after the firecracker moves on. She will never be as exciting, and maybe you'll never lust after her in quite the same way, but she is now, and will always be there, a reliable, constant partner, one that will compliment you, make you better, and love you back. Despite achieving similar performance numbers, these two ultra-high performance models couldn't be more different, whether parked up front at the valet stand of your favorite restaurant, touring the town, or getting in hot laps at your favorite track. The Porsche is so much easier to live with. The interior is downright spacious. With the standard seats of this test model, entry and egress could hardly be easier. The optional carbon fiber sports seats, which I really love, do change that, but the way they hold you in place makes them more than a fair trade-off. Headroom is excellent, more than sufficient for tall drivers and easily accommodates drivers with a helmet. The driving position will be familiar to anyone who has spent any time in a water-cooled generation 911. Porsche is very careful about sticking to the 911 formula. And over the years, I've discovered that all 911s feel amazingly similar behind the wheel, in spite of their power and performance differences. This has been true from the base Carrera all the way to the GT2 RS, which I drove a couple years ago. That familiarity goes a long way towards instilling confidence in the driver. Build quality is typical Porsche impeccable. Storage cubbies and a large front trunk add a level of usability that Lamborghini simply can't match. Visibility, while not as good in this current 992 generation, is still class-leading and makes in-town driving a snap. I was disappointed by the low-quality look of some of the plastics used inside and out. Certain pieces, like this service access trapdoor, look and feel very flimsy and are not up to the standards set by the rest of the car. And like all 911s since the Type 991 of 2012, there is no way to see the engine or transmission without placing the car on a lift and removing underbody aero bits, a difficult and time-consuming process. The exterior styling of the 992 generation has brought more changes than we typically get from Porsche, and this GT3 variant is no exception.
Well, if it's possible, it feels like the 992 GT3 is even more discreet than any previous GT3. On the road, it doesn't really stand out. It looks like any other 911 before it. Definitely not an attention getter, but on the track, there's nothing that compares. Well, I'm still not a fan of these flush-mounted door handles. I'm wondering how long it's going to be before Porsche gets rid of those and goes back to a traditional 911 door. Unique to the 992 version of the GT3 and the double wishbone suspension, the first time that a street version of Porsche's 911 has ever had double wishbone suspensions. The 992 GT3 still comes in track version and touring version. On the track version, this large swan neck spoiler is unlike what they've had before. The smooth underside really helps with downforce. This car produces more downforce than any GT3 before.
The front end of this new GT3 is very clean and simple, much less fussy, and maybe also less interesting than before. The carbon fiber hood incorporates large, aerodynamically designed radiator exits. From the front, the silhouette bears a striking similarity to Porsche's ultra-exclusive RSR, the factory-built race car. The side continues with a smooth, minimalist approach. I find color selection really makes a difference with this design, more so than with previous GT3s. I'm a big fan of the new Shark Blue, but this yellow, without the contrasting black details of the last generation RS models, looks too plain and reminds me of a certain front-wheel drive Volkswagen. Noticeable too, the doors and beltline are much higher and the windows much narrower than on any previous generation 911. There seems to be some obvious Audi design influence with this generation, inside and out. Of course, the back of any 911 is the view which most often will be seen by other drivers, and this one is dominated by a heavily contoured, full-width light bar and massive swan neck spoiler. The new spoiler design is said to generate between 50% to as much as 150% more downforce than the previous generation, depending on the angle selected, which surely contributed to this model's amazing 6-minute 55-second Nürburgring lap times. The 911 GT3 can easily be used as a daily driver. Yes, the suspension is stiff, but if you can live with a firm ride, you won't find any other major hindrances. And for those drivers who don't want to attract as much attention, Porsche offers the GT3 Touring version, which replaces the giant swan neck rear spoiler with a speed-activated pop-up spoiler like on the Carrera and GTS models. On track, the Porsche continues to differentiate itself from the mighty Lamborghini. Where the STO makes its power known with its V10 engine and rumbling exhaust, the GT3 is deceiving with its smooth power delivery and speed. The 4-liter flat-six engine pumps out 502 horsepower and 346 pound-feet of torque, good for 0 to 60 times with 3.2 seconds with a top speed of 197 miles per hour. The GT3 is a willing dance partner. Rather than fighting with you, she'll take you places you never knew you could go and will make you better along the way. The GT3 seems to read your mind and respond instantly, exactly as you want it to, sometimes before you even realize you wanted it. As long as you respect the fact that this is a rear-engine machine and drive accordingly, the GT3 rewards a skilled driver and covers up the little mistakes of an average driver. Not in the same way that the Turbo S model does. With its 4-wheel drive and full host of driver assistance programs, the Turbo and Turbo S can make your grandma look good on track. Believe me, I've seen it up close as an instructor. The GT3 isn't that car, but in comparison to Lamborghini, you would be forgiven for thinking it is. Pushing any 911 hard on track never fails to make me smile. You might even compare a day at the track in a GT3 to a perfect first date. There are truly few cars that make you feel the way a 911 does. And this new GT3 takes things to the next level with Porsche's first ever application of a double wishbone front suspension on the street legal 911. The 992 GT3 turns in like no 911 ever has. It took me a few laps to accept the fact that this new 911 would do these previously impossible moves. Earlier 911s needed to be coaxed into a turn. The 992 GT3 needs no such convincing. Stepping out of the Lamborghini, you feel exhilarated and excited, and happy to be alive. After the same laps in the Porsche, you feel energized and ready for more. They are two very different machines, parked at a valet stand, driving around town, or pushing for new limits on track.
It's like the 911 GT3 is tapped into your brain. It knows exactly what you want to do and performs flawlessly. The Porsche 992 GT3, at about half the price of a Huracan STO, does everything exceptionally well. Like previous 911s and GT3s, she's an exceptional dance partner.
Which is better suited for you?
Well, that was fun.
Well, if you seek a special moments car, something that will give you goosebumps, make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up just looking at it, a car that gets lots of attention when you pull up, stands out from the herd at Cars and Coffee, and will challenge you on track, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more perfect car for your money. And mine would be painted just like this example.
Around town, no other cars can get you attention like this.
If you want something you can live with, use every day, something that will be reliable and relatively easy to maintain, and a car that will always make you smile ear to ear on canyon roads, racetracks, or simple convenience store runs, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more perfect companion than the Porsche 992 GT3. Make mine the Touring Edition in shark blue, please. Rarely have two vehicles achieved such similar results performance-wise in such a different manner. Practicing restraint is wise behind the wheel, but also when speccing your own build. Both of these cars can easily be optioned to prices significantly higher than their quoted starting prices.
Looks-wise, Lamborghini nails it. There's really nothing on the planet that looks like a Lamborghini. Around town, few cars will get attention like the Huracan STO. On the track, she's a bucking bull. Not exactly a dance partner, but very thrilling nonetheless. On track, the Porsche is an amazing dance partner. She'll do exactly what you want to do. It's almost like the GT3 is tapped into your brain, an extension of yourself. Porsches have always been that way. That's what they're famous for, and the GT3 does not disappoint. The big difference between the 992 GT3 and previous editions of the 911, the new double wishbone suspension makes an incredible difference. This car turns in like no 911 has ever done before. For handling, performance, reliability, resale value, and overall best car to live with, it's hard to beat Porsche. The Lamborghini runs around $350,000. The Porsche 992 GT3 starts around $165,000 to upwards of $200,000. So, at the end of the day, which car do you want? The Porsche 992 GT3 or the Lamborghini Huracan STO? They're both very impressive cars and a lot of fun to drive. To me, the Lamborghini Huracan STO is the girl you date. The Porsche 992 GT3 is the girl you marry.
Well, that's my take on these two incredible machines. Both the STO and GT3 are incredible dream cars that only a lucky few will get to experience, to take home and build a relationship with. For the rest of us, or if you want to experience these machines back-to-back on a high-speed track like I did and draw your own conclusion, I recommend Dream Racing in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've been fortunate to drive many incredible cars on their tracks, and I can tell you the team at Dream Racing does it right. You won't find a better run operation with more spectacular street and race cars to choose from than Dream Racing in Las Vegas. If you do get in touch, tell them Thomas at GTS Car Life sent you, and buckle up.
All right, so JT,
yes.
What do you like the best about your job here at Dream Racing?
My position here at Dream Racing, one of the biggest things I love doing is showing what these cars are capable of. One, taking my many years of racing experience and even coaching and putting that on to see what the reaction and you know, some of these cars that you're never going to get a chance to track them the way we're going to push you to that limit under a safe controlled input, and then still push you further past that. You know, that's what I love about it, is this. Been doing this stuff my whole life. You know, I'm third generation racer myself. My kid's been racing the last 4 years as well. Little differences, and like I said, I love putting just that knowledge and show you and everybody what these things are capable of doing in a controlled input.
That's awesome. Well, it seems like a dream job.
Dream Racing for a reason.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing and liking below so you won't miss our next episode. Have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you out there.